So excited that you're joining us for week 3 of Elevate Leadership. My name's Matt, and we've been kind of going over some different things. So if you missed the first couple of weeks, the first week we talked about leading yourself, and then last week we talked about leading people, kind of looking at the DISC assessment and how personalities work, all those different things. So listen, if you haven't looked at those, I would encourage you to look at those because we're going to still be building upon those. However, we're kind of shifting gears, and I'm excited about this. Today we're going to be talking all about energy, managing your energy. And so I think the biggest thing a lot of times that people will miss in terms of leadership or in terms of trying to be productive, all these sort of things, is they think they maybe have a time management issue when actually what they have is an energy management issue. I'll say that again. People will often think that they have a time management issue when actually what they have is an energy management issue. Okay, and so today we're going to be talking about how to manage your energy, how to make energy work for you, how to do assessment that I learned a little bit ago that can help kind of put tasks in certain categories and build a strategy around how you schedule your day and how you schedule your free time. So stay tuned and we'll get into that. Okay, so number one, guys, for us to understand is when we're trying to utilize our energy to work for us, right? Our energy could be one of the biggest momentum builders or biggest motivators there is. And here's another cool thing about your energy. When it comes to like time or money or different resources, maybe skill sets, those different things, all those sort of things are limited. You only have so much time in a day. If you're living by the 7-7-7 rule we talked about, you should be sleeping for 7 hours of those. But anyways, you only have so much time in the day. You only have so many things you can do within a day. You can only do so much that your resources allow you to do, whether that be your money, maybe your car, your free time, so on and so forth. So instead of us trying to focus on the things that are limited, let's focus on the things that are unlimited. Energy's unlimited. You can get re-energized quickly. That's what we do every night when we go to sleep. We get re-energized. The whole idea of hydrating ourselves with water daily is re-energizing us. And so really it doesn't matter how old you get or how young you are. It doesn't matter how rich or poor you are or how little or much time you think you have. If you are a living, breathing human being, you can make your energy work better for you to lead people better, to lead yourself better, and to kind of move the different things in your life into place where you're actually making a difference. Kind of these ideas that we've been talking about God-sized goals, these ideas about making a difference, being productive, those different things. So one of my biggest kind of mentors, pseudo-mentor, I guess, I listen to Craig Rochelle a lot, and this comes a lot from his ideas. He has a podcast episode I'll actually link in the notes here. And one quick thing about that, it's written more for adults, okay? So if you're a teenager, it might not all apply to you, but I think what we're going to talk about today will apply to you. If you're more interested in that, I would encourage you to check out that podcast. But basically, there are 3 types of energy that we can focus on that can move us into a place of having more fulfillment, being more focused on what we're called to do. Even when it comes to our spiritual health, it moves us into a place where we can have the biggest impact in our spiritual lives if we use our energy the right way. So those 3 components are, it's our physical energy, it's our mental energy, and it's our inspiration, our spiritual energy. So again, physical energy, I think that's pretty simple. Taking care of your body, that's why we emphasize that in the first episode. Second is mental energy, understanding kind of the cycles that your mind goes throughout the day. And spiritual energy, or inspirational energy, kind of understanding maybe how you connect with God best, or maybe understanding what motivates you or pushes you to fulfill kind of that calling or that desire to make the world a better place. All those things will be functioning within what we're talking about today. And so the 2 things I love that Craig Rochelle tells us, I'll give you some quick hints from his podcast and video. There's really 2 truths that we have to start with when we talk about energy. You are better at some things than you are at other things. Okay, so naturally, every single one of us, we're better at some things than we are at other things. And I think this is pretty straightforward. Like, some of you guys might love math, some of you might hate math, you might love sports, you might hate sports, so on and so forth. You're going to be naturally more skilled in other things. Things will come natural to you. Second truth is this: different tasks or different projects take different amounts of energy. You know this is true. I know this is true. For some of you, when you get an essay to write, It's kind of in your niche. You know, you can be creative, so on and so forth. It's pretty easy for you. Others for you, you would prefer maybe doing some math problem homeworks or doing some science projects or those different things. We all have these different things that either take more or less energy. Obviously, you've dealt with this at school. A pop quiz will probably take a lot less energy than a huge semester-long project. Or maybe at home in the summer, if you're helping your mom and dad with a house project that takes multiple weeks versus something that's just like cleaning the kitchen for a day, obviously different types of energy there. And so this is what Craig Groeschel tells us to do. And I really love this. This is something I've done in my life, and I think it will help you. Okay, you need to define two things. You need to define, number one, what drains you. What is something that actually takes energy from you to get done? And then number two, what sustains you? So what gives you energy as you're doing it? Like you're doing it, you're in a flow, you're getting inspiration, so on and so forth. So again, what drains you? You need to figure out throughout your day, what is something that I don't look forward to? It takes all my focus, it takes all my attention to get it done. And then you need to focus on what sustains you. What's really fun for me to do, what's really exciting, maybe it inspires me spiritually or maybe it inspires me mentally, all those different ideas, okay? And so he actually created a scale that I love and I've done in my life. You need to do a drain and sustain scale, okay? A drain and sustain scale. So what this means is, and it's going to look different for you guys than it would as an adult, I'll say that. But take every single task that you have throughout a day, okay? And you need to write down either the scale is between -2, means that's the most draining thing in the world. You hate doing that. You would never do that unless you absolutely had to. Most draining thing in the world. +2 is something no one has to ask you to do it. You're excited, stoked to do it. I would encourage you to do this though. As you're thinking about this list, I would encourage you to stay more towards things that are tasks, like things like schoolwork or things like projects, things like developing a skill. Don't focus on recreational activities, maybe like video games or hanging out with friends, so on and so forth, okay? So anyways, you're going to list every single task or every single thing you spend your time on in a week. And you're going to list out a number scale between -2 and +2. I would encourage you again, like if you're having trouble deciding if it drains or sustains you, try to stay towards -1 or +1. Don't do anything as a 0 because it's not going to help you be able to differentiate if this is something that drains me or sustains me. And as you start making your list, you're going to figure out, man, there's some things that are really clear that I don't have to work hard to focus on. I get excited about. It's where my passion is. It's where my excitement is. There's other things that are really, really difficult to get through. And so what you're going to want to do is understand another piece about the energy that you're working through, okay? So within energy management, there's some different things that we all need to understand. Some of us are morning people. You wake up in the morning and you annoy everyone in your house because you're literally ready to go, excited for the day, and everyone's like, please just give me 5 minutes before you get all happy and implode on me. Others of you, you're not morning people, but you're more like afternoon, nighttime people. Like throughout the day even, you're kind of warming up until you get back home in the evening and you get excited and burst of energy to get stuff done. Okay? Now, for you guys in school, it's a little bit harder, right? Because you're always going to have some certain things that are not going to let you kind of peak your energy at certain times. So, like, for example, you have a certain class schedule. You have certain hours throughout the day you're supposed to be at school. If you're in sports, you have certain sports practices you need to be a part of. Whereas adults, we can kind of move our task around a little bit. Like, if I have an event coming up for youth ministry, I can work on that first thing in the morning when I'm fresh, or I could save it for the afternoon. If I want to make calls with people first thing in the morning, I'll do that, and then save other work for later. But for you guys, it's a little bit different. But here's what I would encourage you to do. With your free time, with the time that you have control over, with the time that you can dictate what happens when, that's where you need to focus on this. If you feel like you're more creative in the morning, and you know that you have a big like English or art project 2 weeks out and you want to get that going, go ahead and get it going in your creative time where it will take less energy in the morning if you're a morning person, and work on it little bits at a time. If you're someone who maybe struggles in the morning to be creative, but in the evening time you do a little bit better, again, do that in your peak times. It's really important to know when you're at your peak energy and motivation levels, because if not, this is really going to be a struggle. The final kind of practical thing I want to encourage you guys to do is really try and focus in on how to use this once you get to college and once you get into your careers, or even in your free time in the summers. If you're really wanting to be someone who makes a difference, makes an impact on your community, you really need to define, I usually think people have 3 to 5 things that are those sustaining energy items or tasks, right? Like, you could be doing those things, but it's not really draining you a whole lot. Find those things and try to figure out your rhythms of your sleep cycle, your eating cycle, figure out your rhythms of how much water you need, how many different things you need to do throughout the day, like do you need to exercise to be energized in the evening, so on and so forth. Figure all those things out and figure out which tasks are the most and least draining for you, and schedule your time to complete those tasks around it. Guys, this is going to be super helpful, especially those of you who are seniors. Once you get to college, you have a little bit more freedom in your schedule. You're going to be able to say, okay, I know me and Emily used to have this joke when we were in college. 2:30 was nap time for us. Both of us would feel like we would shut down and get sluggish around 2:30. So I didn't really try to schedule any homework that I knew would really drain me around that time, because I knew I would struggle to do it. You make your energy work for you, not you for it. And that's really the final thing I want to close out with you guys today, and we'll be done with this episode. Make sure your schedule and energy work for you rather than you working for it. With what you can control, with what you can strategize with, make sure that if you're going to be doing a task, that it works for you, not you working for it. Guys, if you master this kind of skill and you master this kind of idea, you're going to be able to work a lot better in one direction. You're going to be able to work a lot quicker in one direction and accomplish what you're wanting to accomplish. And more so, accomplishing some of those God-sized goals we've been talking about, accomplishing some of these callings that we've been talking about. So guys, that's it for this week. I look forward to next week, episode 4, and we'll talk more then.